Now then,
Alright, we're the grass bugs!
so we're back today reacting to some content.
Yeah, we found a channel called Casual Geographic, which I ended up showing Shaun, and we watched one of the videos called 10 Horrible Ways Animals Can End You. Not the most,
Pleasant video to watch.
yeah.
It definitely got us reacting though, so we figured there was a second part to this video. We may as well react to that.
Exactly. So, I think it's time for us to get into the action.
Let's immerse ourselves.
Yes.
So, here we go. Time to get on with this video.
Yeah. Time for some Casual Geographic.
So here's 5 more terrifying ways nature can put you under a headstone, and once again viewer discretion is very much advised.
Alright, here we go.
The Australian box jellyfish is the most venomous thing in the ocean, which obviously makes it one of the most venomous things in nature. They're armed with a crippling toxin potent enough to turn you into a statistic in as little as 2 minutes. And that's because its venom is a neurotoxin that attacks ion channels in muscles, causing them to contract but not release. When those muscles happen to be in the heart, that's what can cause victims to go into cardiac arrest. There have been cautionary tales of people being stung by box jellies while swimming and not even having enough time to make it to shore. The reason the box jellyfish is so disrespectful with its venom is because it's specifically designed to incapacitate its struggling prey before they have a chance to snap its tentacles. I call them the biggest middle finger to Australia because they're the polar opposite of blue rings. The
So
blue ring's
basically,
deadly
don't go
bite may
swimming.
be painless, but those
Yeah.
rings it's named after are designed to warn you before you even have a chance to get that close. Which means the only way this octopus can be a threat is if you're crazy enough or dumb enough to hold one. Box jellyfish give 0 warning. They're virtually impossible to notice until you feel the immobilizing agony that comes with the sting. If you accidentally brush up against those tentacles, thousands of sting cells blast microscopic harpoons into your skin, which is how the venom gets to you. Victims have said getting stung feels a lot like getting branded with a hot iron, which makes sense, because that's exactly what the scars look like. Even if you...
What the? Did you see those scars?
Ah,
It almost looks like lightning going up an arm.
yeah. That guy didn't survive a tentacle attack. That was definitely lightning, right?
Yeah, I could say, that looks like you've been branded. Ow. I can
Yeah.
see why they say hot iron though.
Yeah, same. It almost looks like someone tried to do some scarification.
Creepy.
Yeah.
This thing's
exactly what
brutal.
the scars look like. Even
Now
if you
let
survive,
someone
it
go
can still
out with
give
a
you the world's
Sharpie.
most painful
Fill it
tattoo, and
in.
if you're really unlucky, a nasty case of necrosis. And if that wasn't horrific enough, one species managed to take it a step further. The Irukandji jellyfish is roughly the size of a penny, yet it's somehow the most intimidating animal Australia has to offer. Its venom has been said to be 100 times worse than a cobra's and 1,000 times more toxic than a tarantula's. And because its venom is also a neurotoxin, symptoms can include crippling pain, vomiting, severe muscle cramps, escalating all the way to brain hemorrhaging, heart failure, and eventually a flatline. This tiny jellyfish can essentially destroy you from the inside, and since it can also put you in a comatose state almost indistinguishable from death, it basically turns you into the living dead. I'm not saying
And
this
it's this
homicidal
big.
sperm cell can cause a zombie apocalypse, but I am saying you do want to be ready. Which is why
I think that is going to cause a zombie apocalypse. I think he's got it spot on there.
It's tiny. I'd say avoid
Yeah.
that at all costs, but how do you?
Can't avoid something you can't see.
Just don't go to Australia. Sounds like it's just full of plague, death creatures.
I mean, you go to the areas of Australia where there's less of it.
Be careful in Australia.
Yeah.
But what is a bad deal is if you manage to come into contact with this jellyfish. Because one of the symptoms of Irukandji syndrome is an overwhelming feeling of doom. Some victims will reportedly be so sure they were going to die that they would beg the doctors to put them out of their misery permanently. And that's because the venom can cause a release of catecholamine, one of the things responsible for your flight or fight response, which makes this jellyfish one of the few animals that can bend you over psychologically as well as physically. Basically, it puts the fear of God in you to the point where you want to go meet him. That being said, with immediate medical attention, your chances of getting put on the news by a box jelly are surprisingly low. Doesn't change the fact that an estimated 50 to 100 people lose the lottery to this hellspawn each year. And because of the nature of the symptoms, that number could very well be higher and the deaths either go unreported or get falsely attributed to something else. The worst part is you will almost never see it coming, unlike the next animal.
Okay. Animal 4, but I definitely want to avoid that jellyfish like it's the plague.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun.
Not at all. I bleed into brain hemorrhaging and all sorts.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to know that it's 100% curable. Or like,
If you know
almost 100% of cases that are treated, it's treatable. But
it makes you literally beg the doctors like, nah, fuck it, end it
Yeah.
for me, mate. Like,
fucking hell.
let's see what number 4 can do to us.
Number 4, here we go.
Okay. That's fucking up a croc.
Yeah.
Jaguars
And that
are the
croc's
big
still
cats that
alive.
put their prey out of commission with a crushing bite directly through the skull. Jaguars are
Ow.
basically the bull sharks of cats. They're not the biggest or the most notorious, but pound for pound they're the strongest with the most devastating bite. A jaguar's max bite force has
It can bite through your skull, and that's where it chooses to go for.
Not only that, it was biting through a alligator's skull. Or a crocodile's skull, whichever one that was.
Wow.
notorious, but pound for pound they're the strongest
So
with the
don't
most
pet.
devastating bite. A jaguar's max bite force has been estimated to be in a range from 13 to 15
That one's less
pounds
cute.
per square inch. That
Yeah.
mouthpiece is not only strong enough to evict a turtle from its shell, but it produces enough force to puncture the skull and even pierce the brain. This method is
Damn.
enough to one-shot virtually anything in its area code, from capybara to caiman, and they've even been known to rip the cranial cap off of animals as tanky as the tapir, which can weigh over 800 pounds. Jaguars are ambush hunters that catch bodies by disabling their prey before they even have a chance to react, which is why a full-grown
Oh my
caiman
God.
with a brain the size of a walnut has virtually no shot against a motivated vice grip with whiskers. And since
Jesus.
jaguars primarily puncture the temporal bones of the skull, they essentially punch holes in your head by biting between the ears. And because jaguars are as comfortable catching life sentences in water as they are on land, they're south
Oh,
Between your ears.
like, ah,
Why? Like, that's the thing, it chooses, like, the most painful way, like, to fuck you up, basically. It's a bit... Like, I'm not gonna go for your leg or an arm, no, I'm gonna go for your skull, and very specifically, right between your ears.
yeah, it knows exactly where to go for every animal as well, apparently, I guess. Or at least,
Or
like,
at least for,
ones
like-
with visible ears. It must be like, right, you know what, at
So-
least you're not going to be able to hear.
If you're ever around a jaguar, just walk around like that.
Just wear a balaclava.
South America's all-terrain assault weapons. If a jaguar wants your name off the census, you're not even a person, you're a walking corpse at that point.
Yep.
But spoiler alert, jaguars don't even have the worst bite on this list.
What?
Number 3. Does this
This
have the
snake
worst
is
bite?
naturally shy, non-aggressive,
No.
and would much rather slither away from
Not the most
confrontation.
powerful, at least.
It's when it feels cornered that the bum sling shows you why it's one of the most venomous snakes to ever live.
It's pretty.
This sub-Saharan serpent
It
is
is.
armed with hemotoxin-riddled venom, which contains
Like the green.
anticoagulants that limits the body's ability to form blood clots. Which is how this introvert of a snake can cause fatal hemorrhaging in tissues in muscles and the brain, causing you to bleed into an obituary.
What?
If left untreated, the bite from a bum sling can cause you to bleed from virtually every orifice, including the eyes, nose, gums, and even the anus. Internal and external bleeding aside, there's two main reasons why this snake is a...
Oh, I don't want to get bit by a snake and bleed from my anus.
Yeah. I think that would be my least favourite
Like-
type of snake to be bit by.
I think I'd rather take the jack crushing my ears,
Yeah, that's quick. That's quicker.
bleeding from the ear. Oh.
That doesn't sound pleasant, and it sounds more unpleasant than most other snake bites.
It's actually venom that stops your blood from clotting. Like,
Yeah,
so it
most makes it coagulate more, right?
yeah, and that's just like, nah, let it pour. I'll bring it back a little bit.
External bleeding aside, there's two main reasons why this snake is a cell block D level menace. Number one is the lethal dose of the venom itself. It's been said that the amount of bum sling venom needed to introduce you to your ancestors is one of the lowest of any snake. Number two is because of the very nature of snakes. Venom is physiologically expensive to make, so snakes will often deliver dry bites when they don't want to inject venom. It's how they get their point across without wasting precious venom on a non-life-threatening situation. You're probably wondering how not releasing venom is a bad thing, and here's where nature shows you how much of a female dog she really is. Bum sling venom is slow acting, and it can take the victim several hours to feel the effects. This can cause victims to falsely assume the bite was dry and to not seek medical attention as urgently as they should. By the time you're bleeding out of your ass and eyes, you're already on the wait list to the cookout in the clouds. And without anti-venom, a complete blood transfusion could be the only thing keeping you from a box in the ground. In 19...
That makes it scarier to me.
Yeah, the fact that the symptoms don't show for a good few hours and stuff. Yeah, that's terrifying.
Holy shit.
But to be fair, if I got bit by any fucking snake, unless it was like, I went to a friend's house who had like a corn snake, for example.
Yeah, I'd be worried.
Yeah,
with
if
any
I was
snake
out
bite.
and about and I got bit by a bright green snake,
Yeah, I'd be worried.
I'd be
Very
rushing to
worried.
a hospital. I wouldn't be waiting hours.
In 1957, herpetologist Carl Smith was bitten by a young juvenile bumsling, but he didn't immediately seek medical attention because he assumed the baby snake couldn't produce the lethal dose. You could probably
You
guess
assumed
how that
wrong.
movie ended.
Yeah.
Instead of getting to a hospital, Dr. Schmidt recorded all of his symptoms after being envenomated. All of them, except for the last one. That day, Dr.
Death.
Schmidt became past tense, likely at the hands of internal excessive bleeding, all because of one mistake. Had he been rushed to a hospital and received anti-venom, he might have lived long enough to learn his lesson. Lucky for us, the bumsling is timid and afraid of people, and for all its toxicity, it has a surprisingly low body count, believed to be only...
About that guy, like, you know.
You get bit by a snake and you start experiencing symptoms. Oh, I'm gonna just document them.
When you say it that way, yes, he's crazy.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, true scientist.
Oh yeah, I mean, mad respects.
True scientist right there.
Yeah. But dude's dead.
Yeah, the dude's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for the info, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Had he been rushed to a hospital and received anti-venom, he might have lived long enough to learn his lesson. Lucky for us,
Yeah.
the bumsling is timid and afraid of people, and for all its toxicity, it has a surprisingly low body count, believed to be only responsible for less than 10 deaths. Unlike the next animal,
That's
which
good
has
to
a body
hear.
count not in the hundreds, not thousands, but likely in the millions.
Okay, number
If
two.
I made a poll asking what the most dangerous animals in Africa are, some answers might include hyenas, the always homicidal hippopotamus, of course you can't forget the lion, and heavyweights like the African elephant, rhinoceros,
What?
and the
Yeah.
buffalo might also make an appearance. And if you're an
Yeah, buffalo,
intellectual, you
jeez.
might say the mosquito since they co-author more death certificates than any other animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we know how much of a menace mosquitoes are. Most people don't think the same of this fly, and that's exactly why they're here. The tsetse fly is one of the most murderous things alive, believed to have a human hit rate of, at the minimum, 10,000 bodies a year. It's a parasite that feeds on the blood of others, and like the mosquito, that makes it the perfect vector for a handful of nasty diseases. The nightmare starts when an infected tsetse fly passes on the parasite trypanosoma to an unknown human. Once that parasite turns your body into an Airbnb, it shuts you down from the inside. Being the landlord to this parasite can mean heart problems, kidney failure, anemia, and if you're pregnant, you might just get a visit from that young lady, Miss Carey.
Oh, that was a dark joke.
Oh, God.
That was a dark joke there, mate. But whoa.
I hate flies.
TT fly.
I hate little flies. I hate all flies.
That shot where it was just. It's like,
Yeah.
oh.
I hope that was a fake arm. I hope that was not like someone who was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'll let this
Just-
thing bite me.
Oh, infect you with God knows
Again, true scientist if it did, but oh no. This thing's disgusting.
what. Flies in general are just evil.
Yeah. They're either annoying or do
Venomous,
this.
apparently.
Yeah.
But the most disturbing part is that it's now the second animal on this list that can do damage to your mental. This disease deteriorates your body to the point where just opening your eyes or feeding yourself can leave you exhausted. It doesn't help that one of the neurological symptoms is that it completely wrecks your sleeping schedule, causing insomnia at night and borderline narcolepsy during the day. That fun little fact is exactly
I don't think I've ever.
Check yourself for bites.
I know, right? Like, I know I've got insomnia, but I don't think it's because of that, thankfully.
Might be minor bites.
how this disease got its name, African sleeping sickness. And that's not the only symptom either. Victims can
I knew
experience
something I knew
drastic
'cause of
shifts in
it.
personality, usually resulting in uncontrollable episodes of aggression. This fly factory resets your personality, and the infected can become such a danger to themselves and others that there have been instances of victims being tied to poles where they can't hurt anybody. It's a debilitating
Wow.
disease, and one that slowly breaks you
you
down
gotta
until
do
you
what you
eventually
gotta
slip
do.
into a coma and never wake up. The only good thing is that statistically, the chances of becoming a hashtag after being bit are incredibly low, since the TT fly has to already be infected. But my mother would have raised a lie if I said that about the bite of the last animal on this list.
Okay, number one.
Oh.
Here we go. With the worst bite.
There
Wow.
might not be a worse death sentence in nature than the one hiding in this picture. And that's because crocodiles have spent the last 200 million years perfecting the art of canceling life subscriptions.
Yeah.
With the highest recorded bite force of 3,700 pounds per square inch, getting assaulted by a croc is like getting hit with a sledgehammer with teeth with enough power to tear flesh and crack bone. Not even the murderous hippo can match that force. The crocodile's hunting strategy involves sneaking up to its victim underwater while completely undetected, which they can do because nature put their eyes on the top of its head, giving them a disrespectful stealth factor. Those are all eyes, and they're all looking at you. Once they're close enough, they slam about 60 razor-sharp cones for teeth into their prey and then drag them into the water where they have a home court advantage. Especially since a crocodile can hold its breath for over an hour. And as if death by reverse baptism wasn't enough, crocodiles have possibly the most unforgiving finishing move of any animal. The crocodile's death roll is designed to rip their struggling prey apart into easier to swallow chunks of flesh. I'm not gonna let you see what just happened to that zebra, just know its neck is now non-existent. And with jaws like a snake trap, surviving a fate with a prehistoric homicide gecko usually involves negotiating an arm or a leg. The crocodile's hunting method is so successful that they've been around for hundreds of millions of years and barely had to change their playbook. But the most haunting thing about them is that they believe in the worst type of equality. Jaguars don't see humans as prey, and they're just as likely to run away from an encounter. For all its venom, the bumsling's first choice is always pacifism. For a crocodile, anything that makes enough of a disturbance in its waters can get put on a list. And out of all crocodilians, it's the Nile and saltwater crocodiles that have been known to attack humans with enough regularity to be classified as man-eaters. And because splashing only excites them, a good number of victims are small children that unintentionally play in its dining room. Crocodiles pack up about 1,000 people a year, and as we continue to encroach on their space, that number is only going to get higher. And that's going to do it for this video. Honestly, if this video doesn't get demonetized, I'd be more shocked than Pikachu, so my Patreon's going to be in the description. Being a patron earns you access to videos before I post them, along with exclusive content you might...
Obviously, you should go check out this channel.
Yep, make sure you go check out Casual Geographic. Also check out his TikTok. That's good little short informations like this. It's really fun to watch. Get engrossed in it.
It's so warm. And I think I'm like sweating at the thought of any of those animals coming after me.
Yeah. Which one did you hate the most?
I was just trying to like work that out.
Honestly, I think it was the jellyfish.
Yeah, I was literally just that little tiny jellyfish.
Yeah,
just...
that like the box jellyfish or the Japanese one.
Yeah.
Like, nah. They were just really bad. And then the jaguar.
Yeah, it's just the accuracy of this. Like, I like skulls between your ears.
I know your skull, and I know where your ears are. None.
But that being said, watermelons are supposedly like the same kind of density as human heads and stuff, aren't they? We just saw what that croc did.
Like, over 3,000 pounds of force.
You just be turned into juice.
The bright side of that is that I have heard that you can hold a croc's mouth closed because it doesn't have the same force to open its mouth. So if you were to fight against a croc, you can put a handbag strap over its mouth.
Well, there you go.
And that's as wide as it'll get.
So as much as that was number one on his list, it was the one you choose to fight. Because you could win with a handbag.
I could win, yeah. I don't usually carry a handbag, so it'd be weird to have a handbag in this fight, but...
If this video gets 1 million likes, James fights an alligator.
Yeah, that's never happened.
Yeah, exactly. But on that point, if you did like this video, drop it a like.
Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content from us.
Ring the bell to be notified when these videos come out as well. And as always, guys, much love. Peace. Ow.
You're okay.
Yeah.